Hi students, welcome to this class. Last class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 1 ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೀವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 2 ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಕೂಲಂಬ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಲಾ in scalar form. First statement discuss ಮಾಡೋಣ. According to Coulomb's inverse square law, the magnitude of force of attraction or repulsion between two point charges at rest is directly proportional to product of magnitude of 2 point charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between 2 point charges. Let us consider here 2 point charges plus q1 plus q2. These are like point charges. R is the separation between two like point charges, or is the separation between two like point charges. Point charges means charges whose size is very small with respect to their separation. Charges whose size is very small with respect to their separation. So once again, listen to me carefully. The statement of Coulomb's inverse square law. The magnitude of force of attraction or repulsion between 2 point charges at rest is directly proportional to product of magnitude of 2 point charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between 2 point charges. So according to the first part of the statement, F is proportional to product of magnitude of 2 point charges. Call this as equation number 1. According to second part of the statement, F is inversely proportional to square of distance between them, and call this as equation number 2. So how does the Coulomb force depends on the product of magnitude of 2 point charges, that is directly proportional. If the magnitude of 2 point charges increases, Coulomb force increases. If the product of magnitude of 2 point charges decreases, Coulomb force also decreases. Okay, how does the Coulomb force depends on the product of magnitude of 2 point charges? So one word answer, that is directly proportional. Okay, how does the Coulomb force depends on the separation between 2 point charges, that is inversely proportional to square of the distance between 2 point charges. The separation decreases, Coulomb force increases, separation increases, Coulomb force decreases. So now combining these two equations 1 and 2, then we will get F is proportional to q1 q2 divided by r square. This is Coulomb force. Actually, Coulomb force is always acts along the line joining the 2 point charges. It may be attractive or repulsive. That depends on the nature of 2 point charges. If they are like point charges, repulsion will take place. If they are unlike point charges, attraction will take place. So call this as equation number 3. Now remove the proportionality. We will get the proportionality constant, that is K. Is proportionality constant. K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. So K is called the proportionality constant. So proportionality constant depends on two factors. Number one, the system of units used. Number two, the medium existing between 2 point charges. Number one, system of units used. Number two, the medium existing between 2 point charges. So in SI system, for free space, the value of k is 1 divided by the value of k is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Value of k is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So epsilon naught is absolute permittivity. Epsilon naught is absolute permittivity of free space. Epsilon naught is absolute permittivity of free space. Permittivity means ability of material or a substance to allow the electric field lines to pass through it. So that is the meaning of permittivity. Epsilon naught means ability of free space to allow the electric field lines to pass through it. So the value of epsilon naught, the standard value, that is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12. So the unit is coulomb square per Newton meter square, or one more unit is there, is farad per meter. Okay, and this value is very important. So this is the value of epsilon naught. Substitute this value in this equation, then after simplification you will get 9 into 10 power 9. The unit reverses, that is Newton meter square per coulomb square. Newton meter square per coulomb square. Okay, now the equation 4 becomes F is equal to K place ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught substitute ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square. The expression ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So this is the expression for Coulomb force, electrostatic force between 2 point charges at rest, and the separation between 2 point charges is here in this case, that is air or vacuum or free space. Okay, and now call this as equation number 5. The Coulomb square per Newton meter square ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so epsilon naught will shift ಮಾಡಿ F ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So Q1 Q2 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೂಲಮ್ force ಗೆ Newton ಬರುತ್ತೆ unit, R square meter square. So that is why Coulomb square per Newton meter square. So that is the SI unit of epsilon naught, absolute permittivity of free space. Okay, this is in the presence of air alwa, adike FA anta choose ಮಾಡಿ. In the presence of dielectric medium between 2 point charges, Fm is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Epsilon is absolute permittivity of the medium, ability of the medium, any medium, to allow electric field, to permit electric field. So that is the meaning of absolute permittivity of the medium, and call this as equation number 6. Okay, now equation 5 divided by equation 6 mana FA divided by FM ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So 1 divided by 4 pi Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Numerator ಅಲ್ಲಿ denominator complete cancel ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು remaining 1 divided by epsilon naught whole divided by 1 divided by epsilon. ಇದನ್ನ further simplify ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ epsilon divided by epsilon naught. Epsilon divided by epsilon naught ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 divided by 4 pi Q1 Q2 divided by R square on both the numerator and denominator ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ get cancelled. So this ratio is called epsilon R. So relative permittivity, that is also called dielectric constant. Okay, what is the meaning of relative permittivity? Dielectric constant, that is a ratio of absolute permittivity of the medium to the absolute permittivity of free space, the ratio of absolute permittivity of the medium to the absolute permittivity of free space. That ratio is called dielectric constant. For air medium, this point is very important. For air medium, air medium, the value of epsilon r is 1, because for air medium epsilon becomes epsilon naught. So epsilon naught cancel ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು epsilon r is equal to 1 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So water medium epsilon r is 80. This is for water medium. So for metal, the value of epsilon r is infinity. This is very important for CD. For metal, this is for metal. For metal, value of epsilon r is infinity. So now epsilon or that can also be written in the form of epsilon that can also be written in the form of epsilon naught into epsilon r. Epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. Now equation 6 becomes Fm is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi. Epsilon is epsilon naught into epsilon or q1 q2 divided by r square. I'll call this as equation number 7. And this is also very important equation. So what are the factors affecting Coulomb force or electrostatic force? That depends on the product of magnitude of 2-point charges. How does the Coulomb force depends on the product of magnitude of 2-point charges? That is directly proportional, depends on the separation between 2-point charges. How does the Coulomb force depends on the separation between 2-point charges? That is inversely proportional to square of the distance between 2-point charges, and that is inversely proportional to dielectric constant. Dielectric constant. How does the Coulomb force depends on dielectric constant? That is inversely proportional. Suppose the separation between 2-point charges is metal. In this case, what is the value of Coulomb force? Coulomb force is 0. Okay, andre epsilon r for metal in barutte infinity. For metal, epsilon r value is infinity. So anything divided by infinity is 0, no? So that is why Fm becomes 0. So when metal is introduced between 2-point charges, what is the Coulomb force between 2-point charges? Coulomb force becomes 0, because value of epsilon r for metal is infinity. Anything divided by infinity is 0. Okay, so next Coulomb's inverse square law ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Suppose if the magnitude of 2-point charges is doubled, separation is halved, what happens to the new force, new repulsive force? Question correct ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Suppose the magnitude of 2-point charges doubled ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ q1 dash ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ 2q1, q2 dash ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ 2q2. Separation is halved ಅಂದ್ರೆ r dash is equal to r by 2. The original force ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r square. New force F dash 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So q1 dash q2 dash divided by r dash whole square ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. q1 dash ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 2q1 ಅಂತ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. q2 dash ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2q2 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So divided by r dash alva, r dash ಅಂದ್ರೆ r by 2 whole square. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 into 2 4 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 1 by 2 square ಅಲ್ಲ 1 by 4. 4 ನ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. So 4 into 4 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 16. So remaining ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r square. ಅದು ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 16 times ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ 1 ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯೂ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ನಮಗೆ 16 ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. Suppose if the magnitude of 2-point charges is hollowed, separation is doubled. Separation is doubled. Magnitude of 2-point charges is hollowed. Andre q1 q2 original charges, new charge ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ q1 by 2, so q2 dash new charge ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ q2 by 2. So separation is doubled ಅಂದ್ರೆ o dash 2r ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So ಇವಾಗ this is original force, new force f dash is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ q1 dash place ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ q1 divided by 2, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ q2 divided by 2 whole divided by 2r square ಅಲ್ವಾ, 4r square ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 1 by 4, 1 by 4 into 1 by 4 1 by 16. Remaining thing ಏನಿದೆ that is f dash. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ force 16 times ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ decrease ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Suppose original force is 1 Newton, new force 1 by 16 Newton. Suppose original force is 16 Newton, new force is 16 by 16, that is 1 Newton. Okay, so this is about Coulomb's inverse square law in scalar form. Coulomb's inverse square law in scalar form. ಆಮೇಲೆ 2 ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ the similarities between the Coulomb force and the gravitational force, and differences between Coulomb force and gravitational force discuss madbena. So the first similarity, first Coulomb force mathematical expression, f is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r square. Gravitational force, f is equal to g m1 m2 divided by r square. Gravitational force is first year the universal law of gravitation. Every particle in this universe attracts every other particle with a force that is the weakest force in the nature, that is the gravitational force, is directly proportional to product of masses of two particles, inversely proportional to square of the distance between two particles. Okay, so the first similarity, both obey inverse square law. So Coulomb force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Gravitational force is also inversely proportional to square of the distance. So both obey inverse square law. Both forces can operate even in vacuum. Both forces can operate even in vacuum. And both are central forces. Both are central. Why both are central forces? Because Coulomb force acts along the line joining the 2-point charges. So Coulomb force always acts along the line joining the 2-point charges. If there are like point charges, repulsion will take place. If there are unlike point charges, attraction will take place. Coulomb force always acts along the line joining the 2-point charges. So gravitational force also acts along the line joining the two particles, So hence both are central forces and both are conservative. That means neither be created nor be destroyed. Coulomb force, gravitational force can neither be created nor be destroyed. Hence both Coulomb force and gravitational force are conservative. So these are the 4 similarities between Coulomb force and gravitational force. Both obey inverse square law. Both forces can operate in vacuum. Both are central forces and both forces are conservative. Okay, what are the differences? Between Coulomb force and gravitational force? The first difference is gravitational force actually that is the weakest force in the nature. So electrostatic force is much stronger than the gravitational force. That is the first difference. Gravitational force is weakest force. Electrostatic force is much stronger. Electrostatic force is 100 times stronger than the gravitational force. Electrostatic force is 100 times stronger than the gravitational force. That is the difference. Second one, gravitational force is always attractive in nature. Gravitational force is always attractive in nature. So electrostatic force may be attractive or repulsive. Electrostatic force may be attractive or repulsive. That depends on nature of 2 point charges. If they're like point charges, repulsion will take place. If they're unlike point charges, attraction will take place. So that is the second difference. And third one, gravitational force is universal force because it does not depend on the presence of intervening medium between the two particles. But Coulomb force is not universal. That is also the limitation because the Coulomb force depends on the presence of intervening medium between 2 point charges. So these are the differences between gravitational force and Coulomb force. The first difference, electrostatic force is much stronger than the gravitational force. Gravitational force is always attractive. Electrostatic force may be attractive or repulsive. That depends on nature of 2 point charges. Gravitational force is universal. Electrostatic force is not universal because it depends on the presence of intervening medium between 2 point charges. And two limitations of Coulomb's inverse square law. Number one, the first limitation is Coulomb's law holds good only for stationary point charges. Coulomb's law holds good only for stationary point charges. Means point charges are at rest. And Coulomb's law is not universal because it depends on the presence of intervening medium between 2 point charges. These are two limitations of Coulomb's law. Number one, Coulomb's law holds good only for stationary point charges. Number two, Coulomb's law is not universal because it depends on the presence of intervening medium between 2 point charges. Okay, thank you. అలాగే కూలమ్స్ ఇన్వర్స్ స్క్వేర్ లా అండ్ స్కేలర్ ఫార్ಮ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇದ್ರ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.